evening, and thank you for tuning in to A Living Word. I'm Apostle John Hickman, and I'm excited about what you are about to experience. Hey, why don't you call a friend and have them look at this broadcast, because there's a lot of faith that's coming your way. And I'll be back right after this message. Let's look at the text, because I want to make sure that you understand what is about to happen. He says, go into the village that is opposite you, and as soon as you have entered it, you will find a coat tied on which no one has sat. I want you to loose it and bring it. And if anyone says to you, why are you doing this? Say, the Lord has need of it, and immediately he will send it to you. Now, this is a very strange oxymoron, if you will, because I want to use this in 5 different prose. Prose meaning I want to give it to you in 4 different ways so you can understand why would God choose to do it this way. The first thing I want you to know is that I want to deal with the word need. The word need means that I got needs. But to think that Jesus has a need, it's incredible. He says, I've got need of this. I have a need, and I need you to go and get it. Now, when I think of me, I think of needs. When I think of you, you got a need. And the Lord of Lords, I don't see him having a need. For if he had a need, he could just say it, and it would be out of the way. If he was thirsty, he'd say, I'm no longer thirsty. If he needed a drink, he wouldn't have to get a drink. If he was hungry, he didn't have to call for a fig tree. He can just declare a fig tree and a tree would be. He don't really have to do that. But because he's God and he has a need, it messes with my mind. A need. Jesus has a need? What need is it? What kind of need is it? What kind of need does he have? The need is he has something that is somewhere not being used, and he wants to give it a purpose. Oh. That's good, sir. He says, go with me into a place. Okay, I got to go. He says, when you get there, he's operating his prophetic gift. I love it. Jesus operating prophetically. He says, I want you to go into a place where there's 2 roads meet, and when you get to this intersection in the street, there you will find a coat tied up where nobody has ever sat on it. Now loose him and bring him to me. And if anybody asks you anything, all you've got to do is say that the Lord hath need of him. I'm getting excited about it because many of you never understood the need part because you've never been needed. No. I know that you've been needed to fulfill somebody else's desires, but you ain't never really been fulfilled by a God who needed you. In the King James Version, they call the donkey an ass. In the New King James, it's a coat. Whether you look at it as a coat or an ass, all of us have been tied up at one time or another. Yeah. Now, either you can be a tied up ass or an untied ass. The issue is, many of us are tied up. Okay, now I just got through dealing with this whole issue of need. Let me deal with tied up. Tied up in stuff. Tied up in foolishness. Tied up in drama. Tied up in job issues, tied up in children issues, tied up in man issues, tied up in woman issues, tied up with my mama stuff, tied up with my baby stuff, tied up with school stuff, tied up with job stuff, tied up with my best friend stuff, tied up with my mama stuff, tied up with my brother stuff, tied up with my sister stuff, tied up with my children's stuff, tied up with my neighborhood, tied up with my car, tied up with my money, my bank, my situation. I'm tied up. And guess what I need? Somebody to loose me from all of this confusion I'm going through. Tied up with their stuff. And everybody gets everything today, and nobody's ever thinking about what I need. It's always about what you want. Calls about this. I get a call about that. You know what that's like. But nobody has ever understood this whole process of being tied. Tied. Jesus says, I want you to go find that ass. Go find a young man that's been all in his life. All he's ever done was done drugs and alcohol. All I saw was a bunch of asses sitting on the wall who were all tied up and never had the opportunity to be loosed. The issue is, that I came to loose them, but as the Bible just got through saying it, when folk don't want to loose you, they'll prevent you from getting loosed when somebody came. Let me give you an example. Jesus says these words. He says, and if anybody says anything preventing you from loosing him, tell him I have need of him. I try to tell the one young man, listen, don't go with him. They said, man, come on, you ain't got to listen to him. You ain't got to listen to him. I said, let me tell you something, young man. You can either do that or you can stay here, and I promise you that a 4-year education. And he was torn between whether to go with the crowd or listen to a man. He didn't know me, but the words were real. He struggled for about 30 seconds as he sat there. Gave him a word about, you've been in church, and And finally, one of his little partners walked on away, and then after a while, he himself just kind of walked on away. Because whenever you go to loose somebody don't never want you to be loose.
Go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, nobody really wants you. Nobody really wants you to, because when the moment you say, I don't want to do that anymore, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to be there at night no more. I ain't going to your house at midnight no more. I want to hang up right now and don't call. I don't want to be with you anymore. I decide to follow Jesus. At that point, get ready for drama to take place. Ain't nobody say, remember I'm in a Catholic church. Let me go on this side. When it is time to get loosed and freed, we've got to begin to understand that there's always somebody that either don't want to believe you, thinking it's just a momentary. Maybe you're just having a little memory loss right now. It's going to be okay in a mile. You'll be all right. No, if you really want to convert and change, you have to get to a point where 2 roads finally meet. The 2 roads, you got one road going here and you got another one coming, and you're standing right in the middle. You're in the middle of going this way or that way. The issue is you have to make a determination on which road you're going to choose. Are you going to choose here? Because remember, this road is going to take you somewhere. This road is going to take you somewhere. And you, like the donkey, like the ass, are in the middle. So what are you going to do? Are you going to allow someone who's anointed to untie you? Or are you going to try to untie yourself? The issue is you don't have the ability to loose yourself. It takes somebody else who's anointed enough and who is powerful enough to loose you from your situation. Now somebody ought to clap your hands right now. You can't get yourself out of drugs. If you would have, you'd have stopped long ago. You could have got yourself out of alcohol. If you could have got yourself out of pornography, you'd have done it all long ago. If you could have got yourself out of drug use and drug selling, you would have done it. But you needed God to get you out of it. You need an anointed man of God to loose you. God sends somebody to loose you and set you free. Now the issue is, do you want to be loosed? Now I gotta deal with this loosening thing. Can I borrow this? I need to borrow that, daughter. Your rap, please. Thank you, precious. There you go. Now this is it. Pastor Will, come on. You gonna be my ass today. You gonna be my donkey. Come here.
That's all right.
That's good. That's good. Amen. Now watch this. What we find is in our lives is we are a victim of our youth. In our lives, many of you don't know it, but you are, remember this now, a victim of what you've experienced. Your memory sensories, your ability to perceive things as a child has a lot to do with how you grow up as an adult. I am a big proponent, having spent 21 years in public school education and rising to the highest you can get to. I found it interesting is that I would tell parents, create an atmosphere for your children. Get them, if there's fussing and cussing and fighting, this does not lead to a healthy situation for your children. If this occurs, your child will act like and be like and hide some of those tendencies that it may come out at a time when you least expect it. You have no idea what is going on. They may go a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and you think everything is fine, and all of a sudden they're sneaking out the house. Come on, all of a sudden they're drinking. All of a sudden they're smoking. They don't know how to say no. They don't know what to do when pressure comes.
Good word.
Because when they were young, nobody taught them how to deal with it. So what the Lord does is, and come and hold this for me. Yeah, that's good. You can do it. And so what happens is, as you're holding this close to my mouth, this is what life is like. Put your hands down. So what happens, we get tied up with stuff. We get tied up. Now watch this experience. If I had a little more rope, and I've done it with rope. Watch this, everybody. If you can see it, I know. Angela, get behind me. Over here. Yeah, put the microphone. You stand behind me. Okay. And put the mic right there. Now what happens is this. As we grow, put your hands down to the side. Watch this. As we grow, and as we no longer have models to look at, as we don't have healthy pictures to begin to show us how to live, if there is no Christ-like figure in our lives, what happens is we get tighter. This rope begins to squeeze us. Now move your hands back. Yeah, up and down a little bit. Well, right now, I can do that. But as this rope gets tighter, as it gets much tighter, we no longer have the ability to operate like we're supposed to. So in order for us to go where we need to go and do what we need to do, we are now tied and bound by an invisible force. We're not able to lift our hands because we're tied. We're not able to say no because our mouths are tied. We're not able to think right because our thought process has been tied by a daddy that wasn't there, a mama who was trying to get her freak on at the same time daddy was. The same time we were getting, come on, we wonder why our children are like they are, because we are victims of the same, and get mad when our children don't turn out right. It is because we suffered what our children suffered, and it is a generational curse that has been placed from generation to generation. And so if you saw mama and them back in the 60s or 70s, they were tied up. When you got the grandmama in the 40s, she was tied up. If you got the granddaddy, he was tied up. Here it is 1992 and mama's tied up. Here it is 2012 and guess what? We tied up. But you need to have somebody to untangle all of the stuff that's had you bound for years. All of the stuff that nobody else could do to get you out the drugs, get you out of the bad lifestyle, get you out of the, oh, somebody ought to get this right now. Gee, I feel the Holy Ghost. When you're tied up, anybody can carry you off. When you're tied up, anybody can take you where you don't want to go. When you're tied up, you got to go where they tell you to go. Do what they tell you to do. Operate like, if they tell you to bow, you bow. If they tell you to sit, you sit. If they tell you they don't want you no more, if you don't give them some, then guess what you're going to do? Give them some. People are moved by fear. They get mad and angry. I was telling somebody the other day, I said, you got any friends? No. I said, why don't you have any friends, man? Because psychologists will tell you, I can judge you by the friends you keep. But if you have none, I'm scared. You know why? Because it lets me know you schizophrenic. You got a problem. You ain't got nobody that you talk to. You got nobody. You don't need nobody. You just got you. Somebody say, I'm scared of you. There ought to be somebody in your life that validates you. There ought to be somebody that can vouch and say you okay. When you got nobody, that'll make me get away from you. Now I'm preaching real good. Y'all looking at me like I don't know what I'm talking about. You're like a donkey tied up. You're like an ass all messed up. And the Lord is sending somebody to pull you out. This is the legal way. This is the legal way I get to curse in church. Say ass, you know. Because it's in the Bible. You got to get it out of the King James, not the New King James. But you're tied up. Now, many of you are tied up. You can't smile because you've been tied up by pain so much. You can't share your joy because you don't have any joy. You can't get excited for nobody else's miracles because you ain't experienced nothing in your life. And when things are going bad, you don't know how to shake yourself free because there's something that has you bound. So you look at everything suspectly. It could be your Boaz finally came, but you're looking at him like something must be wrong with you because all the other men I had in my life, there was something wrong with them.
Wow.
Something's wrong with her. You know, the last ones I had, she was just like that too. And it may not be nothing wrong with it. It's just that you've got this mindset that everything and everybody's got an issue. And the issue is you the biggest issue because you're in the middle of it. Now I want to talk to you today about being unloosed because the loosening process can be very wonderful if you allow the experience to happen. First, you've got to believe that you are tied up. Some of you are sitting here thinking that you're not. Some of you thinking that y'all okay. I want to submit to you today, you're not. Many of you are bound by invisible strands of junk, strongholds that have been placed in your mind that you can't finally let go of. I've got a young man in the church in Atlanta. He loves strip clubs. He gets paid. And in Atlanta, you know, you got more strip clubs than you got 7-Elevens. And he goes to them. He is seduced by strip clubs. I got a young girl that just came out. Thank God she finally pulled herself out of it. Somebody clap, because you know that's a stronghold. Told me, Pastor, if you can give me $300, $400 on a Friday, I won't go. Give me one Friday. I make $400 to $500 every Friday. I get $700 on a Saturday. And if I work on Sundays, and I was being funny when I said, you mean to tell me that they don't even respect God on a Sunday? Well, come on, you know good and well they don't. I was just saying, and I was trying to get understand. You mean to tell me that there is no honor anywhere? That you would show your naked body and get money on a Sunday? Now, you know I said to her, when I was to daughter, I said, do you tithe off of it? She says, tithe. That was 6 months ago. Today, under the power of the Holy Ghost, she's no longer bound by that any longer. No longer is she bound by that any longer. But it used to be, she told me she had a pimp. She used to tell me, my pimp go get you. I said, pimp him on here. I'm going to pimp slap him if he come on in here. And he could pull her wherever he wanted to go. Just do whatever you want to do. That's what happens when you don't have your own mind. That's what happens when you don't have come on, y'all. When you don't have your own mind, anybody can just lead you wherever you wanted to go.
Hi, let me take a break in the program to tell you about this exciting new book I've got out called Let There Be Faith, Awakening the Faith That Lies Within. This is a how-to manual on accessing the power of God in your life like you've never done it before. It can awaken the dormant part, that part that needs to be shaken up, a radical move. Read it. It'll do some incredible things in your life. And let me tell you, I've got a companion CD that's called Healing Scriptures. This healing scripture is designed to help you understand even more about the miracle that you can speak when you say, let there be faith. So these two can be part of your experience. All you've got to do is begin to access them through tlwfc.com or jolhministries.com. So get both of these. Your life will never be the same again. Now let's go back into the program.
A controlling, manipulative spirit that forever wants to keep us bound in our lives. But like the coat tied up, where two roads meet, so that conversion can take place, so that deliverance can take place, so that I can find out that I don't have to stay like this any longer, that AIDS will not hold me, that my weight will not stop me, that my looks can't prevent me, that my purpose in life is more than what I've understood. I'm waiting on something to ride me that's different than any ride I've ever had. Now, I've had a whole lot of things get on me. And I done had a lot of stuff ride. Okay, sit there like you don't know what I'm talking about. But I ain't had nothing ride me like Jesus rode me. And all he's saying to me right now is that he's waiting to get on me. Oh, if y'all understood what I was talking about, y'all will understand what I'm talking about. I done had a whole lot of things touch me. I done had a whole lot of things get around me. But I've never had nothing do me like Jesus did me. I've never had an experience like I could get if I let Jesus into my heart and into my life. But some folk don't want you to be loose, though. Some folk want to keep you tied. Some people want to keep you right to themselves. They don't want to ever get you free. Women, I'm saying, if you ever go get married and you get a man, don't let a man control you like this. I always tell her, this is what I tell her, this is my rule of thumb. Never give your man your heart, but give him a piece of your mind. He can have a piece of your mind because you can always get another piece back. But if he gets your heart, you'll always be like this, messed up. Jesus gets your heart. Oh, y'all ain't saying that. Jesus gets your heart. He can have a little bit of the mind. He can blow your mind for a little bit. So if he loses his mind, you don't have to lose yours. If he loses his mind, you don't have to lose yours. Somebody say, I'm tied up. Tied up in my feelings and emotions. People always looking at me thinking, you ever had somebody look at you and think they talking about you and they ain't talking about you? No. You wouldn't even talk about what y'all talking about over there. I know y'all talking about me. You know, we're not talking about you. You know, I mean, people emotionally have some real serious issues. Psychologically and emotionally, they have been messed up seriously. And the enemy will have them operating. This is why I say in ministry, this is not the place to be in ministry and you bound. Don't be in ministry and you tied up. Don't be in ministry and you can't understand, because you can't set nobody free if you still toe up. What we have today, we got preachers and ministers still drinking and sexing and drugging, and they trying to loose people, and you can't loose nobody if you still bound and messed up and drugged up.
Jesus.
See, y'all don't even like that, do you? You sitting over there and you come to my, here I am. I'm double dutching and dancing and stepping, but when you need a word, I don't know, the first thing I asked you, did you give any money in offering? Come on. I see you in Chili's and you got your liquor and your beer, and I'm struggling with alcoholism, and you sitting over there drinking, and I say, well, if my pastor drinking, then I'm sure, why can't I drink? My pastor says it's okay to go to the club. See, we're set standards that we don't even follow. Somebody say, I'm bound, but I got to get free.
Come on.
Man, I am preaching today. But you know what the Lord wants to do? We're looking at the cameras because we're literally being seen around the world. But there's a season in our lives where the Lord sends somebody to loose us and set us free. The Lord knows that if he's about to take this next step in life, he wants to set us free. So go over here, do this. You be the donkey right there. I need two men. Come here, Lafumba. Come here, son. Come, Lafumba. Come. I need my African brother. I want you to go, and I want you three guys, to go down this street, and I want you to find. Come here, don't go yet. I want you to find a coat, an ass that's been tied up. He don't know his purpose yet, because nothing has ever rode him. Nothing has ever said on him. But I want to make sure that you go get him before somebody else get him. And when somebody prevents you from untying him, now come here, son, quickly, run over there, because when they come, I want you to tie him up, and then I want you to prevent them from getting him, okay? Now, I want you to know that this is a spiritual thing, because you've got to understand this, and many of us don't want leadership, but this is why you have to have spiritual leadership in your life. Some of you are trying to be loose, and it ain't spiritual. Some of you are trying to get loose other ways, but you need a pastor in your life. You got to, y'all got to get this. You got to be under a shepherd that knows how to lead you and guide you. And when you get in stuff, he is not fearful enough or not anointed enough to loose you and free you and see what you're going through, so he can say, this is it. You submit to it and say, I understand, and then respond in kind. If not, you will forever stay bound. Whatever ministry you find yourself in, there should be an anointing enough to set you free from anything that you are going through. And when I say anything, I mean anything. So y'all go and loose him. Go get, I need a coat, y'all. Go get him. Listen to the dialogue. Everybody stop, freeze the frame, freeze it right there. You notice what Minister Jason said? Why are you doing this? The devil would love to keep you bound. The devil would love to keep you tied up. But they have a word to say. What is the word you need to tell the devil? the Lord hath need. Now all of a sudden, it has to say, now let me tell you something. This is what's beautiful about this thing, and I'm going to wrap it up, because many of you look at it like, okay, well, we there at this point? Yeah, we're just about there. When they say you got to let him go because the Lord hath need of him, they let him go. Now, for the first time, the thing that has been tied up has a purpose and understands that there's somebody who needs him. He don't know until he gets to Jesus, now bring him to Jesus, that this donkey whose head is down, when he finally sees who's called him. Oh, y'all got to get this. When they finally know who's doing the calling, when you finally know that the one calling you is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, when you finally know that this ain't Ray and Bubba and them calling, this ain't Mom and them, this is Jesus himself calling me. He calls you in your sleep. He'll call you in the club. He'll call you in alphabet soup, and he'll write in your soup call. He'll say, come to me. He'll get you in alphabet soup. He'll get you in Cheerios. He'll get you wherever it is. You can be on top of somebody and he'll call you. He'll tell you to stop in the middle of it and say, stop, I'm calling you. He'll say in the middle of getting high, you'll be getting high with 25 people. You'll mess up the whole high party. And he'll say, come. He'll call you in the dope house. He'll call you in the club. He'll call you. All you got to do is have an ear, and he'll call you.
Isn't that a wonderful message? A message that was catered just to what you need. Hey, look, if you're ever in the Houston, Texas area, I'd love to have you here. And also, you can log in to www.thelivingword Faith Center, and we've got some exciting products that you can have right in your home. So look, I look forward to seeing you this time next week on The Living Word.